I wonder if that future-oriented thinking in organisations are a partial solution perhaps to a big question that I've been wanting to ask you today about the staff shortages within the hospitality industry. Now, do you see a solution to the hospitality staff shortages crisis?
There's always been a solution. Sorry, my apologies. There's always been a shortage.
There's always been a shortage.
But the difference now is, actually, if I'm being really tough, there isn't a shortage. If you decide that from 1980 to for 2023, you're going to open 1,000% more establishments, and you don't invest physically, mentally, and financially into how you're going to keep that supported with the workforce, you've got a problem. So the whole of this kind of explosion of eating within the 80s and 90s onwards that happened, so many brand new, you look at coffee, for example, that has to be fueled by employees. But there was no plan for that, but there was a plan for expansion. So actually, there isn't a shortage. The problem is there's thousands and thousands and thousands of places. There was no plan to that. And if I'm being tough, in the UK, a food service, an ethos of food service and making and serving of food, it doesn't come natural to the English Brits. Yes, it does to the French and Italians. And to be honest, if you want to be successful, it is tough. You deal with the searing, the burning, that's the nature of it. But it's a fantastic and amazing industry. I've not answered your question, have I?
I was going to say, if there is no shortages, proportionately from the amount of people working in hospitality versus the explosion. Okay, we're in the situation now where there aren't enough staff. What do you think would be the solution to that?
If you're in it, do it really well and be totally professional and train the hell out of everybody and drive the hell out of it. Or maybe think of something different to do.
What's your opinion on agency staff? Do you think it can work in terms of developing a really tight culture and that organisation, future thinking?
It's about leadership. That's about influence. If you work for me, God forbid, and I was in charge of the agency, I would train them how to pick up plates and how to do this and how to put the knives and forks and so on to so and so. You influence people, and they will then deliver value for money for the client, and then you'll get repeat business. And the same with the agency chefs. I work with some really good ones and some really bad ones. But sometimes people just need a hug. They need developing. If you think of yourself as a fuel tank, when you fill up your car, you haven't got an electric car, have you?
No, I do not.
Oh, you're so right. So imagine the 20, 30 years of your career is a fuel tank. You're constantly putting knowledge in. When you get to a certain age, the learning in theory stops. Then you begin to use that knowledge up. Get it?
That's a good analogy.
So unless you are constantly within reason learning and learning and learning and learning, you just do the same old stuff you've always done.
And your fuel's getting used up.
Exactly. And your knowledge is, and then you get tough and it's hard and whatever. So I think constantly learning and being developed.
And touching on that development, I mean, I know you've been involved in launching, I think it's a hospitality scholarship or program for students in Scotland.
Yeah.
Do you see education as a potential solution?
Yes.
Training people before they're in the industry?
All humans have to, as I said before, they have to drink, breathe and eat. So the whole thing about how does a leek grow, I remember with the Stephen Byas thing, I went into a school and I took a monkfish, right? And the monkfish has got the most ugliest head. And I ran around the school up and down the corridors yelling with this monkfish, with all these kids yelling and screaming after me. It was amazing. Caused a right riot. But half the kids thought that fish swam in I'm not joking, that melons came out of birds' bottoms and that fish came out of a box in the sea. Blimey. No. If you begin to inspire and show interest into the kids with a curriculum of understanding what literally Earth is about and how the elements and agriculture and those things, that's the solution. Unfortunately, we spend more on Sky TV than we do on our own health each month. So in other words, we've got to kind of change that balance back. But you're totally correct. learning in school and educating, and that's a big biggie, and it can be such fun.